engage video fe no menda engage video fe mình don't nó sẽ là chấm là in video mà sa bên video fe mà cũng sẽ gam cho sự kiện fois anh sẽ lang là sẽ du nó ta là lẽ sẽ cũng sẽ late of neck or lace fois là sẽ chấm mate anh fois la lẽ kanan bakery sẽ chama wana sẽ ya rubu avi chundo makana tenga chama lili ma friti tenga ni tenga kwange su kumare ye kare ni na ikuzu yuvi tenga ni kedi se ki video na yen kedi tenga Mbessa. Welcome to my channel and to this video. I am Samala and I want to show the images of some of the objects used in the Mbessa community, in the Mbessa fandom, in the Mbessa kingdom, and in our cultural life, cultural and social life, most of which are no longer used now or are not used as they were in the past, and many of which are being neglected or abandoned, wrongly so, and also many of which a lot of our children who were born outside of Mbessa may never have seen or been aware of. So I'm going to be making some kind of back and forth between English and Mbessa as I take you along these very important objects. That's not like making scenario. If was a resona, and if one numbers are card in and toy. And then toy. Yeah, don't young man and torn a chap. Marino, and I for you that things and be. No for any gym. Nanto is a cheeky again, and I won't bomb na casa. Hindi na rin fee kasi ano ning lang kasi ano ning kom kasi ano mabay sa laman to na rin fee basan to na afe and to enjoy na bomb na chaka. So this is called tonachak and it is actually a clay pot and it was used for cooking nearly everything, all forms of food before the arrival of pots that are made from the ore of zinc and other forms of pots like silver pots. When they doing the song as Nigeria and Tim color and color allowing tinte. And now when my friend and for leave a do but in my macaton to the creative for the Tamandi and Dunawa. You and a chalked in the sewing and bomb Davon Kings to do for another tongue town and don't. And then for one in Tungtan Dong Sambi came down a jigadizer. But jigadize now and don't lie was in the Monkuama. So this is one of our mothers from Mbessa, of course. And she's showing the younger generation how these baskets were made or weaved, how the weaving of this basket was done. And then she decided to remove the upper part of her clothes in order to be able to show these other important items I'm touching here, which are used as necklaces and were used as necklaces in those days. We have the jigidais, which were tied around the waist, and also we have the munkur, and the singular is fukur, which were used actually as necklaces. And the rest of the items around her, I will be describing them as I go along. Ankagla kanan tang kwa vi fwa ate wa ka vi no men ave ten vi queen vi sang vi no men dong so na ankagla so vi fwa kwa de la ka vi for de mo ma de mo da vi mo na chwa fa. This one is known as ankagla and it's a kind of basket. It's a basket, of course, for holding items like corn, beans, potatoes, and all whatnot, except for items that have water, because the water will find itself out through the little holes that we might not see, but which actually exist. Still our mom here, and with a lot of gadgets that will be explaining as we go along. I can attain an enfant. I can attain an enfant. Qui a une adverse versate. Enfant na can't in because tongue, tongue in their own book and what in time, Johnny Bing, or the book a chong. Ở book on corner way. I don't the coming enfant. At bon don't an enfant 11 versate. Menti agilia agase nang na box when it tiafe na sakala na from brain the body tong na from na tong na chuma from brain akana kada na chuma from brain de akana lay na baby at a t or a tia from brain na tong da ka na nang ngama from brain from brain fa na annoying and nervous na ya kada bombing nang sa wa fata wa bong kala diagnose ngang sa boxes gino with the fever by lang la sa kambasa. This one is called alfung, and it's used for poking fire or for blowing fire or for fanning fire. And we also use it as a musical instrument. And when it is used in certain groups of dance, like the Njang dance or the Chong dance or the Ancona wine dance, we still call it alfung. But once it is used by a special sacred group of women known as the Fumbrain, the name changes, and there it is called Nchum, which actually translates as a drum. And then these two stones, once they are used, they are called iti. A stone is a T in Mbesa, but once it is used by Fumbrain, it is no longer called iti, but it is called Ngam, which actually means the gong. So the language changes automatically because it's a very sacred group, the Fumbrain. And this is our mother here working, and it's not like the fella kind of food. This is a who a kind of law for allow a woman no for a man to eat. Baker wind and fella go fella, baker wind and fella go fella. A kind of whack cannot a lump. Use na and one line laying in that would care faint. The labat wavaka, Montang Wagwin, and a key for Tony, Totomato Tony, Langy. A fallen into the limit, we are dancing at antenna that can as a book, but don't want a banning first and the near Bumberg Lemwak and a wee limiting Navia in Wuna Liate, the lum says about Wakakola Matuavaka, of a Lamatuavaka, our Vaymang first, Mumbo, Lamate, I was Bungilias and another bonkel and chase and chilam B. Nakala book where you was a Gilias and a fat and castle yade, Chilibam Kalevi book, Holum Chok and Chilibamili and things as you were at. This is a beehive, a traditional beehive in Mbesa. It can be made with either Indian bamboos or with raffia bamboos. And there are two circles inside it which make it hollow. And those circles are called kfesenwak. And when it has been built like this, then it is wrapped in grass in order to prevent rain from coming into it. And then you can put it either on a tree like it is here now, and it actually has bees in it, or you can put it on two sticks planted on the ground. And then when a bee colony comes into it, we have two lids or covers, one in front with some small holes for the bees to use as their daily outlet, and then the one behind does not have anything. It is blocked completely and only removed when honey is to be harvested or when some bees are to be transferred to another hive. And up here, and then when you put it, wherever you put it, you can cover it up here either with grass tool like this one, or you can cover it with pieces or sheets of zinc to prevent rain from penetrating into it. Akaning equal phone of cover to bang equal day. Akaning at equal day. A vinu bang equal. I can tom to a canon kaisical, no regarding in a fork, no mancagma. Winter no wine, Nandi. There's an adjunct of black, I don't know, point of view, I'm going to bob in the Sukumiwana for the Kalnata interest in the young article, attending if watch often, and I like Tim for tâm phua anh senilak da bosa mungkum da fuali wa isi kia fa be anet ni ka da ne wa intalanguma dente medical na ini bala fa den kaiser is a via jumbom da min chok man kaiser den me vile. So this is a wooden bicycle. Everything is made from wood, and we call it a curl in Mbesa. And akanang artifacts kabuko anchum. This is a statue of a man playing a drum. Akanang doilak na ina Mbesa go bagla. Va bagla na telang te bagla na totomi bo fuel wite man kan zambi te kono de nang ko Mbesa na telak du na de dem bong ko ngung sang nang ko Mbesa ka bagla ka kind dos na Jena dos as na libum kurs a bomb chak bomb dos e bomb na chak halai en bagla dos a ja afeng sena line ga du de bomb lam ka san dos la ka gili linan dam san do fu ai lak on do akum. This is a typical Mbesa traditional house found in Mbesa, but also in neighboring communities like Oku and Kom and Jin, and even up to Mankon. And this was how houses were actually built before the technology or the innovation of using mud bricks. And one thing to add is that in those days, they would build like this using either raffia bamboos or Indian bamboos, and they would have to block these holes with mud so that it should be warm, and then roof it with this grass. And today it is less used, but a few ones still remain, and they're used mostly for either as shrines or traditional medical reasons, or traditional and cultural rites, and also as maybe museums. Okay. Akanang anfexe now we chuv kana fusa for kom kia kananga kom and a neighboring kingdom to the kingdom of Mbesa. So this is a statue made in imitation of their forekom in the Kom kingdom, and the Kom kingdom is actually a neighboring kingdom to the kingdom of Mbesa. Akanana foli lak adu of so ngfumse na shiese. This is a traditional cap, and it is mostly worn by title holders, those known as shears or those known as fais or ngfums. They know I know as na a chufa atua akum avon to a na bong na one angum laming. And then one I think is na la one alia tanga fatu for a lakat and kiating key. And then I like akadin and this is our brother here, Blackad, and he's in his workshop, which is a traditional house, and he's carving a mask, a YouTube mask, and there are masks around him. And here he is with some friends and his family, and they are working on and holding traditional objects. I can a cock va a boss is suicide. This is the ladder used in making fiber bags with the fiber from raffia palms. I can attend Salamaluk. Salamaluk. Nanning sugar urban Vimaluk attend Takamaluk. There is sugar choked Maluk Saluk, Ubum Lukunan Salafe, Bumfay, Bumlung de Ubum Lutung. Bang ya a talk to our talks at the markets in Tong Taban bung ubuntung bung ya ga bung maluk matate and I now curling bung mo bung and size na de no means a tal no means a tung this leases and be tung this leases a bamboo queen maluk matematic. This is called ensal, and it's actually a calabash wrapped in this to prevent it from getting spoiled or broken when it falls. And it is used in harvesting palm wine. When palm wine has been collected in the bush, it is poured into this, and then it can be carried using a stick known as a ambung, and about 2 or 3 or more of this can be carried in that stick, because one, in order to strike a balance, one will be in front, another one behind, or 2 in front, 2 behind, and so on and so forth, and the person will carry it on his shoulders. Avinin for chufene ando nambang equal day for leader chuf ally but tiny key among captain for the second to me of the bongs no for like a leader in that na talk and order and on cocktail ko na bala for ate anan chum anan to man chum dem le de du anan chum za tala sa fin de anan ga man fak sali ate na wai na sa for da so ka anan ga me for ate da ka nan guk aka nan rock. This is a hive before it is covered or with this grass. Aka nan rock hat lang bala de and so we anan ko fsete anan for chuva do for after chuva la bala inte wabam kasi ki kasi gite mi ba ama was di inte for le se sana ma bot se di te akate ning for bom va wai. So this is the calabash known as for bom va wai. For bom va wai na vene na two more than yang the two na wai le va ta be chika gwe na fa le no mo na de me sign ke ting wo la mi share lang no me na wa ba bu mi wai be chika na no ngi wai wo na gwe ni le ba se chika na wa na de gwe men te ga bong two more days in gaze and no as na the winners na so don't na on no ang abong no mo ate. This is called for bonfire wine and is used for fetching drinking water, especially for pregnant women and nursing mothers when they go to the farm, but sometimes also at home. And it's also used sometimes by elderly women to drink water in the forest, and who put it, preserve it under the cocoyams so that it retains its freshness and coldness. And I've been knowing personally, garden and bo when I would boy yonka, and I couldn't think of a careful of a queen. I didn't don't have a gum. For then I sang for I didn't think that queen and a sanger and a menjang, the jang, the four because do not mean a sure coffee no or guys hang up a gum. A banana and don't a chill. Chill and a song for the kinds of do. So this one is known as a chill, and it is a kind of mat for drying things like beans, like corn, and so on and so forth. I didn't cannot chill at line length. So this is still the chill here, empty. Aka no food. Don't aka no a law food. Aka no food. This is a hoe, and we call this a handle, a law food. Anang bama dinti. Aka no kuf. This is in it is made with the barks of trees and is used for holding oil, especially during traditional marriage. But it was actually used for holding oil in those days. And yeah, so kan ng kuf whenever no visifate will hours nang sa wan te lang ten da no vina walia the father na jim sa man ka fa de ven ka ka fa ka for ka kuf sa de aka was now from alia aka was an chuma from we ngama from we aka na tu a chuvana aka do to so I got and this is a chair, a stool made from wood, a carved stool, and this one is mostly used by women, mothers. Avena narasna kadene for ram, konom ram man tene a no sambi don't Mbesa ben for ram for we. The market fee, bon or carbon mark no makia no chair, the market fair to the market fair no mean kind fika a chair. This is a mat, and it was used in those days. And even so up to now, though there are new brands of it for dressing the bed, and it could also be placed on the floor and used. I can't listen to coffee and go on away. Naming women saw a true and uncle Vatana, dinaming women and nothing in there could be economic wedding. Although this is another uncle for using palm oil, and the way it is oily proves to you and me that it is still used very recently and up to now for holding oil. I can identify for fambas. And I capture and bung frita de no mean jua and then a character jua talekano frita of. So that's known as and it's used for sharing, preparing kati and sharing. And then this one is a fiber bag. This is the bag made with that ladder I showed you earlier. So can a boy susa a boy a coca fema dreaming na. I can't for verde. Ain't having soul at the end of the kangler yam at the kanglang verse at the yams. So this is again for and from a view from within. and is used for preparing, mixing kati and meat in groups, in gatherings before it is being shared. Akananang su nang bong nang ka bong kang la keme for den ta nyam kaza nang nya kaza nang su kaza nang jua kaza no bin ba za ka nge sa na kong no sang ang sai jiga den nang bong jiga den nang ai fu jiga na an to yin sa fe e bum la jiga su na bin den dong ta ai ten ak fang na nang clay. This is a small clay pot for particularly for soups and things like vegetables, meat, kati, which is chicken. Yeah. Akana faire une choco fuate. Akana kona akana faire une choco fuate ne ka waka chok a fu ilak waka chok a lang ke ta wak fe waka chok dong se waka chok a kui waka chok jang sek fe. No me gana un choco un chokate. So chokai se bon se su. So this is a mortar, and this is the pestle for the mortar, and it's used for pounding several things like food items, including also even traditional medications, medicines. Pounding, you can pound bitter leaves in order to wash them. You can pound corn. You can pound corn maybe in preparation of kang in the that was done in the past, but you can also pound things like cocoyams, things like potatoes, and the rest for food. And this is a hive again before it is taken to the bush. A beehive. Kanang wak winan dobla de shikalam zeta. Our kiala right now queen. There is sang. There is chung dam bangs at an bangs at an abalando to chung sang akuna din jena sang akuna din chunda kuna bang. Montakuna na lumana sam katak. Akuna bangana fu sangando ad ambangs afente. Bong sangs at the kang. The bum na chok the sam. No my sang bong funa sang kamajina sang abang. So this is beans. These are beans dried here by hanging on this stick outside the house on the veranda. Yeah, so and also corn is also dried this way, especially corn or beans harvested in the rainy season. Like an cock. This is known as cork, and it is used for carrying items from the farm, and it must not be confused with cork, which is a royal juju. And there was an cork at nothing still the cork here, and then chomala and then so this is a drum, and the top of the drum is being fixed with an animal skin. That's actually the skin of a hare. So this is like a wooden gong. Now we call it nguk. Na buka amankum. No bong buka ando sami ndo the list na kalanguk. Ingilias and kalabingum. Sakalan nguk. Bong buka se for announcement. At nguk de ka buka mankum books for announcement and fee. So this is abonda and uses ambi sa things and tombs. But the boxes a being amunkumi. This one known as the nguk or the talking drum. It can be used with jujus for dancing, but it's also sometimes used by churches like the Baptist Church for sending across messages in the form of a bell, because actually it was used in the past more or less in the transmission of messages, and that's why it is called the talking drum. Like an look at that thing. At I kalang good and look at like jala vud sagalando den dando chongtena or namando waikadang nangse wavo. So this one is not as ngu. So when you bring home the palm wine from the bush or even corn beer, you pour it into this and you move around distributing it, especially in the chong house or in any house where men have gathered to eat together. And then why not bokonguk. Our brother playing the talking drum. Akanan curl, and I cover bana kalafing. Utem gangsa, utem gangsa was in the fuali. Much work as a gift at a big face. This one is known as a curl, and it's a basket for you can put corn flour in it, but you can also mainly put in it loaves of corn fufu, and sometimes even pounded cocoa. Then as nagwe our mother in the farm, akanang elung Kana den lung at the shik. Kana den lung at the shik. This is a traditional guitar known as a lung at the shik. Why as nothing no look and dong anyam na fole la gata so. Went to nganan chumte. So our brother the prince drinking from the horn, a special cup with a traditional cap, and then this is a drum chum, and again at the ifuk of a we ifuk a we. This is a basket from the ifuk in born ne totomi born of na fuavgolo. Ina nang sanying as nas do the kerning gifuk name and then case and be ifuk in curtain and thing in key folk leader ifuk a we. So this is known as a fukubi, and it's also used for keeping things in the house. But that the fuk the tiarimbo, as an signing lane, the major things, and actually, and urban, we never waver when a warm and like use it in the handbag. And nervous now. So the fuk, the other form of a fuk, which I will show later, is used as a handbag. The Whiners Naden Boke Lunga Teshik, our brother playing the traditional guitar known as Lunga Teshik, Lunga Teshik. Ana Quinte, Whiners na Windwan Kwa, Don Kwa, a born at the boy in Langi. So one of our sisters putting pins into a basket made from the barks of raffia palm. This is a walking stick used, and this is used by men. Atoma luma, is a luma. So this one is known as income, although they have not made all of it to come out, but this is actually called income, and these are maize being put into the income. This is the most frequent basket that women take to the farm. They take, whether they're taking seeds to the farm, they're taking it, whether they're taking food, they're taking this, and when they're bringing back things like corn, like beans, they also take in this. The beginning can come at that line, then still can come here, line empty. Can't be in salam look again. Akana two married chuvatia ngamse, can ngamse in the chuvatia made a tuka and I do canate and I do sora luma, but I gambon so me I do sora luma. So this is another stool, a special carved stool with scorpions on it. These are images of scorpions, and this stool is mostly used by men, but it can also be used sometimes by women. Comments. Thank you for watching. If you have anything to ask, write in the comment section. Thank you.